Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Vino Volley. Again,
Electric Boogaloo.
Not even close.
Nope.
I don't even know how that even ties in.
Yeah.
Just
Part deux? It's like Hot Shots?
yeah, but you're gonna be able to keep that up for like part
Trois?
and then do you even know?
Qua?
Do you even know French?
Enough.
Oh, okay.
No.
No, I can do Spanish, but no. This is episode 2. We're back. We're gonna be talking about the dark arts. A little bit later in the episode, but just a quick recap for some people who decided to potentially skip the first episode for some bizarre reason. My name is Michael Wall, and my co-host with me is Ryan Rebecki.
Mike, I'm so excited. Back together. We're doing it.
By the way, I have to say that not a little bit of jealousy, but a few friends that have listened to it, they say that you got the goods, you get the radio voice.
Do I?
Yeah.
Voice for radio.
Yeah.
And the legs of a flamingo.
The problem is, like, a lot of people that I've listened to it have listened to 40 odd clean recordings that I've done of just like various trainings. So it's like hard to get out of that mindset. So I've really fucked myself for that. But we're hoping to kind of, continually expand our presence
Yeah.
out. We hit 60 downloads. Hard to know how many of those are friends and family. I don't think I really know 60 people. So I'm hoping we got some randos in there, people who just like the logo,
Yeah.
like the idea, and are going to continue listening to us. So for those again who might be just jumping into it, this is a podcast that we like to do to talk about different wines, drink a bottle of wine,
Drink
each
a bottle
episode,
of wine.
drink a bottle of wine, kind of review it while we talk about various topics of a sport that we both are very passionate about, soccer. And we'll
discuss a variety of soccer topics. Drink some wine.
yeah
Have some laughs. And hopefully the folks out there enjoy it.
Yeah, and we talked about in the first episode some ways for people to kind of be in contact with us and be in the know of what's going on. So we do have a Instagram account, VinoVolley 85, and we also have a Gmail account, VinoVolley85@gmail.com. So we do want our listeners to reach out to us. We would love for this to be an interactive podcast. There's obviously certain components of the podcast that kind of cater to that, right?
Yes.
So the ability to have the wine with us. Well, we tried that for episode 1.
Is that true?
There's a story there. I'll get to that in just a second. But on the most part, we want people to be able to try and get the bottle that we're going to drink it with us, and we would love to have them utilize that email account to give their thoughts. But also, I mean, if you have topics that you think would be cool to be discussed and you kind of want to hear about or hear our take, we'd love to hear your opinions. And then most importantly, I think one part of the podcast we get the most enjoyment out is the most punchable face.
I
Right?
mean, yeah, I think that's and the fact that we got feedback and we got emails from people.
We got 2 emails. We're gonna read those. We're gonna read those emails out. And we hope that more come in. We obviously have our own thoughts, but it's gonna be nice, and we hope that could potentially be a recurring thing. Is have our potential fan base give their thoughts on who has the most punchable face and why? Because I think
build the hate.
right.
It's not enough of it in the world.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna get into how much hate's in the world. This is like the playful, like, haha hate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's not overly malicious, even though at times I'm sure we could, we are, judging people based on solely their physical appearance. But you know what?
Not solely. You did.
I did. Oh
You
yeah.
did.
No, I went.
Yeah.
And
I mean, well, okay. Phil Foden.
I mean,
Enough said.
just
Enough said. I'm sure a couple
homely
people
looking man.
looked up Phil Foden and were like, yeah, there's something there.
instantly threw up.
I mean, he's not like threw up, but just were like, oh, I kind of want to hit that guy.
Yeah.
So, to all our Vino Volleyers out there, let's pop those corks, indulge in healthy pour, and dive studs up in today's episode. Before we get into the wine, I know Ryan's geared up. There's a couple things.
I'm so freaking excited to drink this wine. We just had dinner.
We did.
Our families just had dinner.
Yep.
Delightful. Kids were well behaved. Tremendous lemon pasta dish. Hats off. Didn't have a sip of booze the entire dinner.
No.
And I'm like,
Parched.
I'm parched.
So we'll get to it, I promise. But there's a couple things that I need to clear the air about.
We're honest. We're honest gentlemen.
We're honest gentlemen. We don't do any fact checking or research for that matter. We're really going off of our own gumption, what we think is correct. Now,
Correct.
I was pretty sure I had this, but it was brought to my attention that my definition may have been a bit crude. And where it comes from is when we talked about the field blend when it comes to Portuguese wines.
Correct.
So,
field blend, what is it? I thought you made an excellent point as to what it was. You had me. I would have bought what you were selling.
I think the way it came off is that the grapes on like a single vine, like that, you'd have a cluster that were different grapes.
Like a hybrid of different.
Correct, which isn't entirely accurate.
Okay.
So it's more the fact that on these vineyards, there are a multitude of different vines that are grown, like, again, within the same area
Okay.
and are picked. So I'm going to read an excerpt from a book. It's Foot Trodden, so Portugal and the Wines That Time Forgot, by Simon J. Wolfe and Ryan Opaz. So I'm just going to read a little excerpt that might help clarify what we're talking about when it says field blend.
Also, while you're
Just to
looking
make
it
sure
up,
we don't offend an entire
the fact
nation.
that you have a book and you just quoted a source, I think definitely brings some legitimacy to this. Like, it's pretty legit.
Yeah, but now you got to watch me try and read
Yeah,
this.
you're just flipping through it like it's.
I had
oh
it.
God.
You hear that? This is a real book. Here, you can hear that?
Page turning.
Page
Page
turning.
turning.
All right.
So you took it upon yourself to double check yourself as to what a field blend is. Take it away.
Okay. Oh, I already lost my paragraph. Good start.
Jesus H. Christmas.
Here we go. One of the challenges of identifying such varieties of grapes is that they are typically intermixed in old vineyards. This planting technique, the field blend, is an important concept in Portugal. Vineyards were historically always interplanted, sometimes even with a mix of white and red varieties, with the intention that all varieties were harvested and fermented together. Field blends have remained particularly important in the Douro and for port wine, but also still common in Dow and in the other vineyards of Alentejo and the Lisbona wine region. Lisbon.
There you go.
It's Lisboa. Oh, I fucked that up. Lisboa.
You said Lisbona, which
I know.
sounds
and I was
dirty.
like, I was in my mind, I was just like, oh wow, that like, it sounds like Bona, but that's just, I just Freudian slipped myself.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna have to. Well, this is not it. Another subject line for the old therapist. All right. The idea can seem random to outsiders, as Richard Mason has written. Asking a small-scale grower in the Douro, what's growing in your vineyard? It is very often met with a shrug in the words,
Get off my lawn.
I think it's now say, which translates to I don't know.
That
Yet
makes
the
sense.
field blend has a sound basis.
There we go.
All right, so there's the clarification on
Coming clean.
field blend. I think can't get more accurate than that.
Yeah.
And if you want more, you can
You
foot trodden.
You quote.
You go get the book. You know?
Source the book.
So, the other coming clean. Obviously, the intent was to talk about the wine for next episode
Yep.
so that our listeners could drink with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we fucked it. I fucked it up. No, I didn't fuck it up.
You didn't.
My wife fucked it up.
Sure did.
She kind of gave us the backstory not too long ago. My wife, bless her heart, once a year she likes to cook to commemorate the memory of her grandparents. Usually cooks Italian food with red wine.
She's got the music going. It's
Music
it's a
going.
thing.
Yeah, it's a whole
it
thing.
is-
Like it's beautiful, and the meal was gnocchi and eggplant parmesan. It was delightful. But in that, I get a text message with a picture of that bottle of wine and the question: were you going to use this for your podcast? To which I may have said some expletives. I've already sworn on this, but we don't need to
Yeah, you'd set that aside. It wasn't like hidden,
now.
but it was certainly set aside.
Set aside. Also, we know that we make our own wine.
Yep.
There's been I'm gonna say 5 times in the last few years that I've bought wine. So and usually when she cooks, she just uses the wine we have.
Makes sense. You get a good
So
product.
it's just, and she's a brilliant woman. But you looked in the fridge, you looked in the wine fridge, you saw this bottle, and you just thought, not second thought, oh, I wonder if this is for the podcast. And be like, great, I can't believe we have this Italian wine. How serendipitous. I'm going to use it and ruin the whole shtick that we got going. So
You send me a text
I did send you a
with
text.
I don't know if it was a picture of the bottle or how, and I think Jess sent me a picture of the bottle as well with an apology, and it's the meme of what's his face, the drug lord, the guy down in Colombia.
Yeah, El Chapo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of just him, just hands behind
Yeah.
his back, just staring out a window, just
Yeah.
oh man. But alas,
So anyway,
adapt and overcome.
that wine, and I'm just going to give a rough score for it. Kind of might have been a blessing in disguise. Although it was a delicious wine, probably would have ranked it at a 7.8, 7.9. It was delightful. It was on the lighter side
Okay.
as far as was mouthfeel. I don't know the great way to explain mouthfeel. The way I was drinking water between drinking milk, I guess,
It's mouthfeel and body.
yeah, just it's got more to it. So it was on the lighter side.
Okay.
The color for I forget what was it, I don't want to say the
Narrow,
first.
it was narrow something.
Yeah, that was Negro something.
It might have been.
But anyway, it wasn't, and also it just wasn't that dark. It was on the lighter side. I sent you a picture that it was pretty see through. So, but again, solid wine. I think for the price, it was like I said, I think a 7.9. Very delicious, very smooth. Perfect to enjoy with a delicious Italian meal, if I do say so myself, as I indulge. But unfortunately, it's not going to be the wine that we are going to be drinking today. So, in the, still taking into the dark arts, we had to look for a substitute. And to that, we came across a Petit Syrah, which if you look in the spectrum of light to dark grapes, it is damn near at the darkest.
Bottomed out.
Yep. Just pure night. Squid ink, as we like to call it. So that's what we're going to be drinking. So I will leave it over to Ryan to kind of read about the bottle, and also be on the lookout on our Instagram page, as I will post a picture of it, so that hopefully if you are following us, I think we might have 2, but hey, 2's better than none.
Sure is.
You can see the picture, so you'll know, and hopefully be able to go out and get this bottle prior to listening to episode 2. So Ryan, take it away.
And if you find a bottle that we either highly rated or you really enjoyed, let us know where you got it and for what price, because
we're going off at the websites. Was it wine.com?
I got wine.com.
And Vivino. We're taking the average.
Yep.
So. Take that with a grain of salt. But right, take it away.
All right, so for this episode, we are going to be drinking the Maggio Family Vineyards Petit Syrah, the 2017 vintage. Wine.com has it for about $13, $12.99. The winemaker notes are dark and inky in color, aromas of dark, ripe berry fruit, sweet and tasty oak, and savory hints of grilled meat. I don't think I've ever heard grilled meat in the tasting notes of a wine, but we'll give it a go. I'm curious.
I'm gonna, because I think we read one that was pine was the
first episode. Was pine.
Yeah. You gotta feel like some of the people are just I taste this. You think they're full of shit? Or you think they really you can taste pine?
I don't know. I'd like to think that sommeliers are just so in tune with things, but then again, I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta feel like there's just what if it was, just I just ran headfirst into
just fucking around with everybody. Just be like, no, did you get this? Oh, you didn't get the pine? Oh, it's because you're,
snozberries taste like snozberries. Yeah.
Flavors of ripe blackberry and toasted oak with a juicy mid palate and chewy tannins on the finish.
Yep. Yeah, so we got, it's a bold, taste characteristics, bold, very tannic, on the dry side, mid to high acidity.
Okay.
So with that. Oh, and again, as always, kind of keep the same method.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little aerator, pop into the, so we just opened it and poured it in. So the glass has been sitting lusciously in front of us.
It's dark.
It is dark. So with that, shall we?
Let's do it.
We're going to try an official cheers. So there might be some shuffling around as we are kind of, if you don't know the setup, we're about 8 feet away from each other. So I'm going to give Ryan his wine, and then we're going to cheers, and then we're going to give our first thoughts.
Yeah, we're going to commence this adventure.
Go. Let's get real close in.
Oh, that's really good. That, right from the go is really good. I like it. Super gentle, but yeah, it does. It's definitely acidic.
Oh yeah,
good mouthfeel. That is one that I think we're in for.
It is bold.
It is
bold for sure.
But I like it. That's right up my alley.
Did you read what the alcohol content was?
13.5%.
Not
so
terrible.
It's not super high.
It's just maybe it's because we haven't greased the wheels. That first sip, it's got a little burn to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
it also could be just the rapid infection that I have.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're still in a bit of a rough way.
We're gonna be good for one hack session. I'm hoping to mute it out, but hey.
Yeah. So before we get into our 2 topics today, figure, you know what? I gotta put this on the table.
He's unzipping his pants.
It's fully out. I started watching the Beckham documentary on Netflix.
I've heard it's amazing.
I'm 3 episodes in, and it is captivating. And not only because I think I'm more attracted to him than I am Victoria.
He's a handsome man.
Posh Spice.
Yeah.
In his interviews, he's just so relaxed.
Yeah.
And just no wonder he was football star turned model turned international sex symbol. He's just the coolest dude in the room.
Yeah.
What he's wearing, how he looks.
And he picked the best Spice Girl by far.
Oh, see, I was partial to Ginger Spice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Conversation for a different time.
Conversation for a different day.
We could go
but
through.
The way it's done, I'm not it's kind of choppy in some of the interviews where you have the director ask it oh hey so what, and you see the subtitles because I can't watch anything without subtitles anymore because
I can't,
damn near 40.
Oh yeah.
But
FYI, if you're nearing 40 and you have a physical coming up, be prepared for some morbid talk, because apparently, like, the wheels are just gonna fucking fall off.
yeah, no, it wasn't great. Wasn't great. Put me in like a worse place than I was when I walked in. Anyway, I digress. It was really good, and to see him, because like when he was in his heyday in like Manchester United, you and I were coming into high school.
Yeah.
I had stopped playing soccer, and I never really like followed it other than like, oh, US 94. Like, I wasn't following and actually watching, but like he was just an absolute phenom, and to see how skilled he was and how like the pressure the game put him, the pressure the whole country put on him was incredible. Oh yeah,
that's how he bends it.
And just the way he developed his skills, he's like, I wanted to kick it different than anybody else would, and like definitely like a hardest worker in the room mentality. And then it's just like he's just so goddamn handsome.
He is. And I mean, he's had some pretty like, if you can make an ugly haircut look good, like, you're just like, you're a strikingly handsome human being.
Oh, they did a whole thing on his hair and how like Sir Alex Ferguson,
he like had like the mohawk, and he was just like, you're fucking shaving that right now. And I think that might be a good future episode, is talking about that old school like coach mentality. Like, now we talk about juggling, like coaches have to juggle these superstars.
Yeah, managing egos.
Right, and it's just like I want to go back to the olden days where it's just like, no, I'm the fucking coach. Like, it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have a full conversation about it, but might be something to touch
that
upon.
And best worst hair in soccer, because that is a lengthy discussion.
I feel like that kind of goes like hand in hand with punchable face.
It's true. It is just purely
like,
based
I mean,
on
we could go
appearance.
through the history, but if we're talking like present times, like, I know, actually that just brought up another, if we get to that team, I already know one, because it's just like the worst goddamn haircut.
So if you're in the market for a good watch as it relates to soccer, my guess is that's why you're here. Watch the Beckham documentary on Netflix. It's really good. Episodes aren't super long. I mean, he's just a goddamn dreamboat.
I feel like it would be in our best interest to maybe do an episode about different soccer shows, like taking documentaries.
Yeah.
Like, obviously Ted Lasso is really big.
Yeah.
Talk about that, like our favorites, and in the TV and movie realm. But one thing I did want to note about the wine before we kind of kick off our conversation is that it's a screw top. And so my question to you was, as a wine drinker, when you see a wine bottle that has a screw top, do you automatically assume that it's going to be a piece of shit? But maybe not a piece of shit, but just like,
no, but like sub.
Like, you got like your
than what
like
you're
cupcake,
used to.
Cupcake wine. No, I mean, no knocking any of these wine brands, but like, kind of like, you see, it doesn't have a core.
You're mass produced.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think it takes
user friendly?
Like, you think it automatic? Like,
I noticed it. I think it doesn't drink like a screw top, because like I've had really good wines that are screw top. But I bet you that deters some people. It's probably the same thing when people are like I was on a kick for a while where I was only buying DOC wines or DOCG wines from Italy. I was like, oh, these are the best because they have the highest regulations, and that's not necessarily the case. And again, it's all personal taste and palate too. So
right. And so that's a good segue into what our goal is part of the wine portion of this podcast. Besides the fact that we just get to suck down a bottle of wine while just talking about topics we enjoy
away from our children
is to we're never gonna be buying those $80, $100 bottles. I think those brands, those bottles speak for themselves. Like, you're paying for the taste, and sometimes, but for the most part, I think it hits it. I mean, I think the most expensive bottle I bought was a bottle of Caymus, and it was a gift to my brother-in-law, and he was gracious enough to share it with me. And I mean, that thing, I think I spent $79 at BJ's, which was like a deal. Other places like $100.
Yeah.
And that thing, I mean, it tasted great. It was like pure velvet. But that's not where we're gonna be. We're every man's wine drinker. So what we're looking for is we're gonna try and find we're gonna stick ourselves into that 15 to 30, maybe above that, like a little bit above that $30 range. And our goal is to find those hidden gems that we think drink more, could drink up to like a $50, $80 bottle, right?
Yeah. Who definitely hit above their weight.
Yeah.
And, are either bargain find
right
that are unbelievable and they're just happen to be inexpensive.
Yep.
But, something in the range where even if you're going to a function and you don't know anything about wine, well, hey, here's something that's not necessarily going to break the bank, but you can impress people with.
Because we desperately want to just impress
want to make
people.
everyone like me.
Why don't they like me? Okay, so with that, shall we dive in?
Well, we're diving in.
We're diving in. We're studs in. So, as the wine told, we're going to be talking about the dark arts. And for those who may not know what the dark arts are, it's also known as more of like the theatricality, the diving.
The gamesmanship, if you will.
It's a lot of nice synonyms for something I just absolutely hate. So we're going to be discussing, is it good for the game? Is it bad for the game? And if, depending on where we fall,
Yep.
is there a better way that it can be I mean, surely there is, and I have my thoughts.
Okay.
But is there a better way that we think it can be handled to, I don't know, make it be a part of the game, but still make it more meaningful? And maybe I can make more sense when we get to that part. So
I got you.
I want to hear your thoughts. Like, what do you think when you see like somebody? Obviously, I mean, it's an opponent,
Yep.
especially going down soft, maybe for a free kick or time wasting or, God forbid, a penalty.
Yeah.
Give first your knee-jerk reaction.
My knee-jerk reaction is to probably curse and yell at my TV.
He instantly becomes the most punchable face.
Whoever
dives.
It's just so aggressive. I think it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of layers to it. I'm going to start off with, I think that's one of the major things, other than the archaic thought of the pace of soccer that turns people off to the game even today, is, oh my God, they're just so soft. They're flopping around. Oh my God, like, why do they have to do that? Like, a breeze will hit them and they fall over. I think that's honestly like a huge deterrent as to why people don't respect soccer in a way.
Which is fine, but also, like, depending on what sports those people watch,
Yeah.
they're hypocrites. Because
Yeah.
we watch the NHL,
Yep.
and a hooking penalty, you can see guy grab the stick right under his arm and dive. Now, the physicality in hockey and some of these other sports, again, is crazy. Although soccer
Except for basketball.
Except for basketball. Basketball, flopping.
Oh, God, the worst.
I mean, soccer does have the highest concussion rate. But again,
It's true.
From physicality, I mean, I think it's more athleticism than it is. I think it still takes physicality, but I think it takes more athleticism than it does. But
I mean, I'll share a story real quick. When I was coaching at the high school level, I had this kid, probably the most talented kid on my team, and close game, kind of a shoulder to shoulder, kind of a 50-50 challenge. Kid goes down like a ton of bricks, right? I got to go trot out there, which to his detriment meant he had to come off because he didn't understand that. Rolling around like the sniper was on the roof. I get to him and I'm like, hey, you all right? And he looks at me, like, winks, smirks. He's like, Coach, I'm fine. Did I get the call? Like, it was like one of those scenarios, and I wanted to strangle him because I was so against things like that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, sometimes a little bit of embellishment, a little bit of going to the ground to get a call, if it is close enough, I think is understandable. And it also has a lot to do with who's calling the game.
Sure.
Which, again, as we have all seen, week to week, it's a goddamn grab bag.
Of course, and that's going to be a future discussions. We're gonna talk about not only VAR, but we're gonna get into, is the game too fast for the human eye now? And obviously, I never want to put anybody out of a job, but technology, what the cameras can capture. We've seen the goal line, like the offsides. Like, is it time to let the automations do their work and make it a more efficient game? But
you are promoting the robot takeover.
Skynet, man, self-aware. To make
Aquanet.
Not that. But anyway, so I hear what you're saying, and I think the other part of it is you look at a player that's in the box, right, and is getting absolutely manhandled, but stays on his feet.
Respect the hell out of it.
Doesn't get the call though. Whereas
aggravates the hell out of me.
Well, of course, but like, so there's the double-edged sword, right? So it's like you got to stay strong. But he's actively getting fouled, but because he can withstand it,
right?
No foul is called. So then, it could lead to a goal kick, whatever. It doesn't score the goal.
Yeah.
So then the other mindset is you feel the contact. It's now, what's the acceptable amount of contact that I can be like, all right, well, this is impeding me from being able to maximize my efficiency. I'm going to go down because there's contact. So I agree. I think there's a degree where it is good. But man,
or not that it's good, it's part of the game.
It's necessary, do you think?
It's necessary. It's necessary if it does impede someone's ability to play the ball. The showmanship of it, the theatrics of it, I even now cannot stand.
Right, and I think that, and I know coaches and players, are kind of against it because there's so many games. But I think one of the best things they ever did was the last World Cup, is they really were like, we are going to count every second. If you're rolling on the ground for 2 minutes, we're going to take those 2 minutes, which was never like, you maybe had a max 5 minutes unless there was like a serious injury. Right? Serious injury, you could find yourself in the 7 or 8 realm. But if it was just pure time wasting, it was always a max like 5 minutes. Now you had 7 minutes, 9 minutes, 11 minutes, 13 minutes, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Because that let
them play it out.
So that's the way the rules have evolved to keep up with the game.
There it is.
Right? So that's fine. You want a time waste? Great. You want to give yourself, your team, some reprieve?
Yeah.
All the power to you.
Yeah. But you could pay for it on the back end.
You're going to pay for it in the back end. And that's, again, people hem and haw about it, but I think that's the greatest solution to at least that aspect of theatricality, right? You want to take 12 tumbles? Fine, do it. When the 90-minute hits, we're going to have 9 minutes, and I hope your legs are ready because you're in for it.
Yeah, so, and that's a way that you think you're helping your team, but, if it backfires and you're the reason why your team gives up, a 97-minute goal because you were flopping around like a goddamn halibut on the friggin' SS roll-around,
nice.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. That's on you. So, we focus on the diving aspect of it. And obviously, soccer, physical game, it's become part of the game.
Sure.
I'll tell you what gets me almost as mad is freaking goalie time wasting. The scoop up, a through ball, scoop it up, lay on it, look around, look at the clouds, check your watch.
So the goalie's supposed to have 8 seconds from the point in which they've it's not a point of contact, but the point in which I guess they've composed themselves.
Point of control. Oh, that's a good idea. I don't know.
It may not be 8, but I remember years ago when Simon Mignolet was still the goalie. He took, I think it was 42 seconds. Got a yellow card and then proceeded to take another 20. So that's the other thing is it would turn the game on its absolute head.
Yeah.
But that's the thing from a ref is do it once, draw that hard line.
Yeah.
Give a goalie 2 quick yellows for time wasting.
Yeah, rip them out of there.
That would be
it almost seemed like a pitch clock, like a running pitch clock. Because nothing gets fans as fired up as when a goalie holds on.
No contact.
There's an
talking
aspect
to you, Jordan Pickford.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that freaking backfired.
Yeah.
This
is if you look, you can look at
prick.
the Derby last season. But
was it last season or 2 seasons ago?
Oh dear God, could be 2.
I think it was 2.
Was it 2?
Yeah.
Well, Derby's coming up.
Again, I don't fact check anything. I don't do the reading.
It was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It actually never happened.
It is aggravating, and I understand. If you need to gather yourself as a goalie, oh man, all right, I got to slow things down. Things are the other team's emptying the chamber.
You do the fake rollout, and then you all right, clear the lines. I'm gonna hoof it. That's enough time to kind of just
100%
reset.
But the overall, even at the end of games, goalie say it's a corner kick, you're on your feet and you go down to the ground and freaking cover the ball like it's a grenade.
Yeah.
Come on.
No,
you
I
gotta
100%.
Have some pride in yourself and be all right, I'll roll it out and then let someone play it into space, have the guy run down the wing or stick it in the corner or go to the sidelines. There's so many other ways to clean that up from I don't know, a respect for the play type situation.
Yeah.
And even if you're winning a close game, I still do it with Allison, and Allison doesn't do it a lot. I feel like he plays it out he doesn't milk it like I've seen some other goalies do it. But even times where he does, I'm oh God, you don't need to. Just get up. Yeah. You can roll it out. You could punt it
well, that also
everyone's
could be
up.
That
punt it to the other side of the field.
Most of the time this season, Liverpool have eaten the first goal. Yeah, but right. He does it. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
No one is, I think, absolved of this sin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. But I think set the tone.
Yep.
Hopefully, the way the season's going, it'll probably be Liverpool, get the first 2 red cards because we just can't fucking help ourselves. We just don't like playing with 11 people this season. But yeah, I agree. So we talked about the goalies. We've talked about obviously going down the box. We talked about time wasting. Now, my question is, if it is a part of the game,
Okay.
Maybe not necessary, but it's here to stay.
Mhm.
We talked about how time wasting, it's added on at the end. Great, you've resolved that.
Yep.
How do you resolve? I have my thoughts, but I'll see if you have yours.
Okay.
How do you resolve the issue that a dive leads to potential
Okay.
game changing moment?
Okay, ready for this?
I haven't finished my. How do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't know. Well, I'll let you finish.
Rude.
Sorry.
So it leads to a game-changing moment, and it's one of those things where, like, if the on-field decision was a different way, it would have, if he called it a non-penalty, it would have stayed, because obviously VAR, it's not clear and obvious, but like it's soft as squirrel shit,
Yeah.
or actually wild turkey shit. Weird, but like, have you ever seen a wild turkey shit?
Yeah, yeah.
They're gross.
Yeah,
They're
it's
just
also
soft.
super fertilizing. It's actually really good for the land.
Not when my dog eats it, but anyway.
Gross.
All right, so in those instances, so you basically you've won your team a free kick in a dangerous area. You've won your team a PK, and that's the difference between 0.1.3 points.
Hmm?
But like deep down, like that was awful. That
You
was,
gotta
that was
live
a
with that.
dive. I mean, they're living pretty good.
Yeah.
How do you think? Is there a way to curb that? Is there a way to make that better?
Yep.
Keep it in the game, but make it better.
Yep.
Okay, what's yours?
Never going to happen. If it's deemed a flop, that player, almost like a power play, has to sit for some amount of time.
You're talking in-game.
In-game, if they go down and embellish and it's like, all right, like, you come on now. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
And I don't know if it'd have to, like, someone in the booth would have to look at it. If it's made the decision by, like, the on-field referee, it's like, all right, you're going down. You are compromising the integrity of the game. You now, like an injury, like, you go to the sidelines, you're kept there, and then you have to be let back on.
Okay.
It would never happen.
I like
but
where your headspace is at.
It's pretty
I'm
cool.
I'm going to take it one step further, though, because I feel like in-game is too difficult, and like a 2-minute minor, it's not 5-on-4.
That's
it's still
true.
10 on, like, and you've seen like certain teams, like, they go down to 10 men and they almost
no,
seem
it doesn't
like
make
better.
it.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
no, it doesn't make a damn bit of
So
difference.
here's my thought, right?
Publicly stone them.
Not my thought, but
Okay.
we're going dark wine, dark place.
Okay.
So my thought is that you have an independent panel review these instances after the game.
Okay.
Okay? One, because in theory, I mean, I think I've seen it done less than 10 times, maybe less than 5, is
Yeah.
if the ref sees a pure fabrication.
Yep.
That player, it was deemed the player should get a yellow card for fabrication. Actually, it's happened once this season so far, and the player, I think, eventually ended up got sent off. He got 1 yellow card for fabrication. It was a Tottenham game.
Okay.
1 yellow card for fabrication, then the second yard for an actual bad foul.
Yeah.
So there's justice. But the game is too fast for, I think, just the human eye to catch it. I think you need an independent panel to kind of review these situations after the fact.
Right.
If after the fact, kind of just like, they have the panel, to see if like the ban is going to be upheld.
Mhm.
If after the fact it was deemed that your player led by diving,
Yep.
led to a goal, we'll just keep it simple and keep it like a goal, basically changing the outcome of the game.
Okay, so it only has to deal with it has to impact a change
It can have,
in score.
I mean,
I know,
we're not
that's
gonna go
where
down
the
rabbit
sliding
hole of
scales,
getting-
but yeah, go on.
right. But anyway, like it changed the impact of the game. Like you got to draw out of it, you got to win out of it rather than a loss.
Okay.
Right? Something like that. If it was deemed that was pure, like it was just way too soft,
Mhm.
that player is then 1 match banned. And here's my thought process with
Okay.
that. Right? Here's my thought process with that. Is that now you've kept the theatricality, the dark arts as part of the game, it just seems to be integral to it.
Yeah.
But what you've done is you've put an onus on it that you got to think about, is this really worth it?
Yeah.
Are you going to get bagged and potentially put your team in a situation where they can't pick you for selection next game because you did this? So it's like, how important is that dive? How
Oh, I love it.
important
I love
is
it.
that 3 points, that 1 point in the grand scheme of things? Because then you kind of put
It has larger ramifications.
right. You kind of like it's almost like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Like it's a 1-1 game.
Yep.
It's a close game. It's a soft call. You go down and you're like, you know what? If I can get this,
Yeah.
we can get the 3 points.
Mhm.
And hey, I'll lean on my teammates for the next game that I'm going to be out to get this. So you kind of just like, you almost applaud
Mm-hmm.
with the knowing that there's a chance that he's going to be banned. And again, it's not always going to be 1 game. So if it happens once a season, it's 1 game.
Yeah.
If you do it twice a season, it's 2 games.
So it's
again,
what the NHL does with like player safety. It's like X amount of infractions, games suspended, monetary.
So I feel like in that, like in the moment, you'd be bullshit at the player if he dove against you, but you also know that like it's kind of like, all right, I'll applaud you because you know what the ramifications could be. You know you could put your team at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
depending on like, and like in that moment, are they really going to think of like, who are we playing next? So I think that would be a perfect way to just keep that element of the game there, but
have much more weight to it.
yeah.
Ooh, I like that. That would be interesting. That definitely seems like a more feasible thing than like the in-game in-game penalty.
We've already seen the flaws of the in-game VAR.
Well, no, not in-game VAR. I'm talking about the in-game like penalty kill.
Yeah, that it's a different. Too many people on the field to really.
I know. I guess my element of it is like the immediacy of like the public shaming of like, oh, look at this. Like, imagine standing.
How about we just pants them?
Yeah, imagine.
It's like
look at this wiener. Look at it.
There's the garbage bin.
It's so cold here in England in the middle of the winter. Look at it. No, but just like imagine like going off the pitch in like the home section, like saying like, oh, you're in like a 2-minute flopping minor or whatever, and just getting fucking berated by like the local fans.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
but it's not going to impact.
That'll never happen.
It's not going to impact the game.
No.
You need it to be that they're like just unavailable for selection.
Yeah,
but I like it. Anything about public shaming and apparently pantsing.
Yeah. Multi-millionaires and
Is it just cold out there?
Supermodel wives.
Yeah, right. Anyway, we can just take these people down a peg or two.
Now, moving forward with the dark arts I guess it's more of like a game management thing, so I don't think it's necessarily a dark art, but the end of game substitutions, while there is some element of, strategy, you'll bring in James Milner for the last 3.5 minutes to just lock it down. It also aids in time management, because I don't know if every second goes back on the clock, because like...
So it's supposedly for just like every goal, for every substitution is 30 seconds. The automatic 30 seconds that are added on. And I think they have done, like obviously, a couple of years ago, you'd have a player would strategically put themselves in the opposite corner.
Yeah.
And then knowing they would get subbed and just walk. Now you have to go off at the nearest point. So they've done the best they can with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they could probably drop 30 seconds. But again, now when we're talking about like things like that, the time is added on.
Okay.
So I think as long as they stay true with you, like, sure, you want to make substitutions because you want to get fresh legs in there, you want to change the, complexity of the game.
Yeah.
Fine. If you were just trying to do it to just take the sting out of it, it could bite you on the back end because we're just going to add that time.
Yeah. I mean, that was my strategy. Like back coaching high school, like if we were in a close game and I knew it was getting close on my watch, I'd be like, look to the end of the bench, and be like, you get over here, and like the last kid would be like, Dougie, get over here, like, Coach, am I in now? I'd be like, yeah, Dougie, and like he'd step on and be like, whistle, I'd be like, we did it, like,
I thought he farted.
Yeah, no, Dougie shit himself one time. He's just so
it's such a Dougie thing.
So excited. Oh, what a warm embrace.
This is make that now the teach me how to Dougie is just get
sweet Dougie.
Now the teach me how to Dougie is to get into the game in the final minutes and just shit yourself.
Just to ask.
Tell you what, it's not going to be a Vino Volley podcast episode if we don't talk about defecation.
That is true. Is that the running?
The runs.
The right. So what are the dark arts? What other?
I think we might have covered it. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, the darkest thing is obviously the racism, but we're not going to.
No,
we're not going to cover that.
We're not
going to cover the. Yeah, we don't have time.
Do that.
Or
like
the education.
Or the behind the scenes monetary dealings.
Yeah. No, we're not.
We're not going to
go that dark.
We're not going there. We're going in-game.
Superficial dark.
Superficial, like in-game.
So I think that kind of well rounds it up. I mean, like I said, I would love for my plan to be implemented because I think
it's a good plan.
It would just it would take away that stigma of just like, oh, this flop, and be like, yeah, man, but he did it. He's basically kind of like, it's almost like a falling on the sword thing.
Yeah.
Like you did this because you needed those points. So
yeah,
I would love it. But
nice.
I think that's a good wrap to the dark arts. And let's as we've actually slugged down most of that first glass.
Yeah, that was really good. Like
so,
I'm.
So what do you think? I'm
on board.
Has it changed at all?
No. I mean, if anything, it's got a little mellower. But I've been on board with this one from like the first taste.
I mean, it is bold. I feel like I always get the berries. Like definitely like that dark fruit. Like I feel that way up front.
Yeah.
Vanilla, I feel like there's always an element of it just basically
I got
from the oak barrel. I mean, it's oak and vanilla. Tobacco, I mean, I've never smoked a cigarette, so I can't really. Leather,
I've been there.
Oh, do you get any of the cocoa?
No, I'm getting
No cocoa.
no cocoa. Definitely getting Vanilla, I'm getting like the fruit big time. I don't know the whole grilled meat thing. That's just, I mean, you might as well.
Yours
That's
had-
like, you know what?
Vivino does not have grilled meats.
Okay, so
It's just-
wine.com, funny thing,
He's like,
noticing,
I ate a beat of steak and it tastes like grilled meat.
this was in the same sentence, right? So
Did you just read it wrong?
I don't know. It's dim lighting in here. You know, I can't see well at night.
Making fun of my sconces?
Harmon Rab.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's night blindness.
So 2 sentences on wine.com. The grilled meat was the last note in the first sentence, exactly where the spruce was for the previous bottle. So I wonder if like wine.com's just like, oh, here are all the real
Wine.com's
things,
probably
and then
just
just like, see if you're paying attention.
Wine.com's probably just like Wikipedia. It's just like some guy just adding me like...
The next
Yeah.
bottle, it's like, oh yeah, you know, vanilla and dark beans.
yeah,
And then it's, human-
Boston's baked beans.
Yeah, and then it's baby femurs. What? Jesus. Oh. So yeah. So I think it's time.
To pour?
Oh no, I could do more.
We're
But
gonna do
also
more.
to talk about
Oh, we're in it?
the physical appearances of people making millions and millions of dollars. We knew this one would hurt a little bit as we were on to Liverpool today,
We're doing the most punchable face right now.
but we're doing it.
All right, so let's I'm gonna top us off,
Yes.
and then since we have some write-ins,
Okay.
I'll read those first.
Love it.
We'll discuss.
Yep.
And then we'll go with our picks.
So excited.
Sound good? Okay. All right. So today's episode of Most Punchable Face, as Ryan eloquently said, it was the first cut is the.
I'm
you feel
giddy.
like
I'm
you're
so
giddy about ripping into
freaking
our beloved
happy
team?
about this.
Okay.
No, it's not ripping into my team. I just feel like as time has gone on and we've let this simmer and we've, I've listened to the first episode a few times just to listen to it. Like my family's listened to it. My 9-year-old son was like, Dad, I want to listen. I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, nothing he doesn't hear at home. Not the violence part of punch me in the face, but like, whatever, curse word here and there. He's on board. He has his input as well. So we're going to have to share
Okay.
his input. But right now, it is
So I
listener
listener
contributions.
appreciation.
I like
So
that.
we have this comes from Jennifer. Jennifer says,
Thank you, Jennifer.
Y'all are funny. I think Dominic Soboslai has the most punchable face. He looks cocky, and he's a millionaire at 22, so he kind of deserves it. So
I'm angry now.
I mean, we kind of danced around Soboslai.
Just
Right?
because he's so fucking handsome.
He is a handsome man.
My God.
I mean, he's walked into this team, and he does have. I mean, he's got the tools to back it up, but he's got that air of just like, my shit don't stink. And you know what? It probably doesn't.
No.
I mean,
I mean,
take a whiff.
he's just he is so handsome.
So
I
just punch him right in his beautiful little face ass.
no, I just give him a little boop.
Little-
That's a
Hey,
you
now.
get.
Hey, now
He's so handsome.
you're so
He's-
handsome. One if
His legs are very hairy though.
do you know the thing about his dad made him wear shoes that were too small for him so
Okay.
that his feet wouldn't grow, because the theory or what have you is that smaller feet allows you to have better like ball control and striking abilities.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So his dad like Japanese foot bound him?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Jesus. No,
Hey.
I also feel now he's handsome and he's been
He might have tiny feet.
tormented as a child.
So that was from Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
And next one came from Christina, who said that if I had to choose the most punchable face on the Liverpool team, it would be Calvin Ramsey.
Ooh,
Mainly
okay.
because he's 20 years old and makes too much money to look like he's always confused in the face. So Calvin Ramsey, I mean, that's right now is kind of a technicality. He is a Liverpool-owned player,
Yes.
but he is on loan.
Yep.
He's got a baby face. Christine, you want to punch a baby?
Oh man.
So maybe
Huh.
you want to take a good look internally
That is true.
and think about like what kind of person wants to punch a baby.
Yeah, what are you going through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe write in. Tell us.
Right in,
Tell us what you're going to.
Yeah, tell us your story.
Little narrative. Little short story. So those are our 2 write-ins.
Awesome.
We appreciate the feedback. We hope to get more as we continue. But yeah, let's.
I gotta add in.
Let's hear writers.
Okay, so Ryder J, listen to the podcast. He immediately, without missing a beat, I asked him after like he listened to this part of the first episode. I'm like, hey Ryder, I'm like, is there anyone? I don't even think I get the words out of my face. He's like, Curtis Jones. I was like, dude, really? He goes, yeah, his hair's stupid. He's got a stupid haircut. And I'm like, okay, dude, Jesus. I mean, that's a pretty good answer. He was my runner-up.
He was your runner-up.
Curtis Jones is my runner-up.
So I'll go my main pick.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go honorable mention. But as we're Curtis
Okay.
Jones, I mean, not ever been the biggest
No,
Curtis Jones.
you are
I
out
think,
on Curtis Jones.
I think he's definitely kind of coming to his own this season. He's shown me a few things, but there are also games where I'm just like, I don't know what you do. And he looks like a... Oh, God. Wait, how am I?
He looks like he knows a maximum of about 17 and a half
Oh,
words.
I was going to say 7.
Like,
Yeah.
he's a bowl.
Yeah.
It's just like very, like a long face. He's got the dumb
It's
hair.
like an ice cream cone. Like, it's very narrow, and then it just really protrudes
Yeah,
out.
he's got
and
the
then
big,
it's
the
just, like,
big
it's just
butt.
like, yeah.
A bowl. It's like, yeah, no, Curtis, no, I understand. But how did you, what difference did you make when you came on? Yeah,
Matt Damon. Yeah.
Bowl. Okay, thank you,
By the way,
Curtis.
totally irrelevant to the podcast, but like, do you know why that all came about in Team America, World Police?
Yeah, wasn't he supposed to be in it, but then didn't?
No,
So they...
when they made the doll,
Yeah.
it melted, and so it kind of looked,
Ah, there you go.
not Matt Damon-y, so they went with the, well, that's the easiest way to say that. All right, so we've taken our honorable mentions and our call-ins. Let's dive in, Rye.
Right.
Who are you gonna? So how are you gonna do? You're gonna do your. Do you have 1, 2? We did a couple.
No,
for Man City.
I've dwelled on this pretty strongly. First, it was Dominic Soboslai, mostly because I just want to hit him with affection because he's just so goddamn handsome. 2 would have been Curtis Jones with like a side of like Ben Doak.
And I mean,
It's just,
he's
he's
like-
young. He's young. He hasn't like
problem is
grown
he's
into
like
his
a
body.
17-year-old kid, but like
Yeah.
he's got a dopey mug.
Just like, dude, you
and
gotta.
he's just got like the Lloyd Christmas kind of bowl cut going
God,
on, which is
so bad.
Man, I think a lot of these could be fixed with just like a proper haircut.
Yeah,
we
call
will.
up-
We definitely will.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna have an episode.
Call
just
up
like
David
worse.
Beckham.
Call up David Beckham. I mean, well, yeah. Anyway,
My pick for the most punchable face on Liverpool Football Club is Alexis McAllister.
wow.
He looks like he didn't learn the numbers past the age of 5. When he smiles, it's like a simple smile.
He's like looking through you.
yeah, like he's
just
got
like,
super small beady eyes, and he's just like happy to be there. Tremendous player. So glad we got him. But like, if you look at a still shot of him, it's like,
It's like, I think you see stars right now.
it's like, no, it's like simple Alexis. Like he's just got that look about him, and it's only in still photos or when he smiles. On the field, it's like, oh, like he's handsome, athletic, still smiles. It's like, hold on a second.
incredible athlete, but looks like the kid who would just be like chasing butterflies.
Yeah, no, he was Dougie on the end of my soccer pitch. Like,
he's Dougie.
he
Dougie.
shit himself in the
Wow, that's
89th minute. And it's not that I necessarily have anger towards him. It's just his face in still shots or when he smiles. It's just something.
So we've got one person who wrote in who wants to punch someone with a baby face, and we've got my
Oh, God.
co-host who wants to punch someone who more or less has a simpleton face.
Yeah, it's bad. Not proud of it, but
Okay,
that's my answer.
that is
Moving
your
on.
answer, and you're sticking to it.
All
All right, so I'll go with my honorable mention first,
Okay, honorable mention.
and it is going to be Joel Just Matip.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's not.
I get it, but
It's
I'm also...
actually as
I feel triggered by this.
so most punchable face, not by any facial features,
Okay.
but and you've seen it in multiple videos. You might not have, but I've seen it in multiple videos. But like when celebrating or in practices, he is known for hitting people in the back of the head like harder than like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I
like,
thought he was like the trickster on the team. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a trickster thing, but he's
Yeah.
a quirky dude to begin with.
Yeah.
But anyway, it wasn't the final, but there's like a Champions League like qualifier game where like they score and they come over. Obviously everybody comes off the
Yeah.
bench, and he absolutely wallops Henderson in the back of the head.
Yeah.
To the point like he turns around just being like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
yeah,
And he's done it like there's a video in training where he's done it to Robertson, and like Robertson takes it in stride, but like
Yeah,
to
he's
me,
a
I'm
crazy
like,
Scottish
if,
guy.
like if someone like came up in surprise and just like
Yeah.
whacked me in the back of the head harder than like my first reaction would be like, I'm gonna fucking hit you.
yeah.
So he was my honorable mention. Now, and my actual pick.
I thought you were gonna also add the fact that like the way he runs, it's like watching a
It's
giraffe
a
run.
baby deer. He runs like a baby deer.
But
But man,
I love when he takes off.
it's like
it gives me
you
such great
watch
joy.
him. You watch him running, and you're just like, "There's no fucking like, why isn't someone stopping him?" But like, he like will make it the length of the pitch.
Yeah, it's like non-threatening.
Yeah,
Like no one's threatened by him, and there he goes.
you should be threatened. So my pick,
Who's your pick? Because I feel like
my pick is Andrew Robertson. And we'll talk about kicking a guy when he's down. He's sidelined for like 12 weeks with a dislocated shoulder. But
I did not.
Andrew Robertson
I'm
is
shook by this.
through and through a hard-nosed Scotsman. Okay, and the reason I picked him because again, I'm trying to take the fan out of it and think arbitrarily.
Okay.
He's an asshole. He doesn't stop jibber jabbing.
Oh, I love it. Not your pick.
But you love him as a fan. If he was so like, case in point, there was the
Yeah, it's like Brad Marchand.
right, exactly. We've had plenty on our team that like Luis Suarez, like he could bite whoever the fuck he wants. He keeps scoring like 40 goals a season. I don't care.
That's definitely a punch.
Oh yeah, horse teeth.
Yeah,
there's another one there out there. But so Andrew Robertson, because I just think like he just doesn't stop. Like it was a derby game.
Yeah,
and like Pickford came out, like the ball came, and like they kind of like. Not like it wasn't like a fight, but they came together.
I remember.
And
yeah,
Robertson just started laughing in his face and like sent him, basically just like, and he just kept laughing at him. And I was like, as a Liverpool fan, I'm like, that's awesome. But if I was like the opposing fan, like I'd want to punch him in the face.
He's probably
so I think like
disdained by a lot of.
Yeah, he just like he'll go.
Fans.
I mean, he's just like he's not afraid of anybody. He'll go at everybody, and he just doesn't stop talking. And so for
Fascinating. Now, here's the thing. To circle back to what we talked about last week, his size doesn't factor into the punchable face thing. Jack Grealish, not large. Phil Foden, not large. Not afraid of their size.
I mean...
But Andy Robertson, I feel like, has the crazy in him.
Buddy, I love you. Any person we pick.
Yeah.
I don't care how old they are. I don't care what size they are.
Okay.
They're either going to run circles around us until we tire from swinging and then beat the shit out of us, or are just naturally strong enough that...
Or, well, if it was Alexis McAllister, I'd just do like a serpentine, like a crocodile. I don't think you could catch
just
up with
like,
me.
just like, what about like one of those like sparklers in your right hand and just slap them?
Cat toy?
Poor Alexis McAllister. But like, we're not winning any of these fights. Buddy, you went to your physical. You're almost 40.
Yeah.
Remember, how many hobbies do you have?
A lot.
Things you got to think about.
Yeah.
It's sad a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Can't believe that's your pick.
Who do you think was going to be my pick?
I don't know. I didn't foresee that.
I'm trying to not. I'm not going after the low hanging fruit.
Oh, because one we discussed numerous times is Luis Diaz.
Lucho.
For pure.
He's just ugly.
He's not an attractive
But like
man.
you know what? He keeps scoring goals. I'll open mouth kiss him. I don't care.
Oh, I was going to say.
Are you going to go further?
No, I was going to say Dominic Szoboszlai. I'd probably kiss on the lips.
Yeah. Although.
I've actually weirdly talked a lot between David Beckham and Dominic Szoboszlai. I don't know.
We'll probably talk to Sabrina when we leave here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. But I think, and out of it, like, obviously Szoboszlai, yeah, but I say there's like, getting real British here, but there's like two things that I think I want more than anything. And one is just a real strong embrace from Jurgen Klopp.
You personally?
Me personally. I just want like a Klopp. Like I want him to like hug me like he hugs. It's just like
when they show up, like the overhand.
Overhand, just like get
bring
in,
it in,
like, bring in.
Yep.
I just think like
and
as
you
a
want
Liverpool
and you want to punch Andy Robertson in the face.
No, the other one out of the still in England, but out of soccer realm, and for my fans of British Bake Off is I want a handshake from Paul Hollywood. I don't know if that rings any bells with you.
No, I got you. Yeah,
it's just I don't know. I don't bake, but like I just want the handshake.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't know. Just one of those things.
Just want that. I have a very strong father figure, my father, but like
great guy.
I still. Yeah. I don't want a hug and a handshake.
He's the English Guy Fieri.
Ooh.
Paul Hollywood.
No.
Dude, you haven't seen that?
I mean, like, looks-wise?
Yeah, the whole thing, like, the comparison
Guy Fieri is a bit of a doofus. Paul Hollywood is a fucking legend.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
If you're just talking about, like, silvery spiked hair and a little on that husky side,
yeah,
fine.
Okay.
That's where it will punch you in the face. You never compare Paul Hollywood to Guy Fieri again.
Can I also tell you, speaking of British people, and not to trash on, like, an entire area of the world, I audibly chuckled to myself watching the David Beckham documentary when I saw them holding hands walking out of a car, and I'm sitting alone in my living room, and I go, oh, they do hold hands. Not them. British people. Like, they show affection towards their spouse. But then again, like, they're two beautiful people. It's not just like...
And we called it, but like...
It's not just like...
The Jurassic Park, they do run in pairs.
They do.
They do hold hands.
Yeah, it's not just like some, some guy coming home to his, like...
Have you gotten to the episode...
Cottage.
Have you gotten to the part where she talks about, like... My buddy sent me a clip of, like, she talks about, like, coming from humble beginnings.
Yeah, her dad was friggin'
well,
driving
like, so
Rolls
Beckham,
Royce.
like, just, like, won't let it go. He's like, what did your dad drive you to school in? And he's like, say it.
Yeah.
And she's like, Rolls Royce. He's like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's
a good watch, honestly. It's highly recommended.
Yeah. So,
And then, what's his face? Who's the,
We're just going to go through the whole roster now?
No, the guy who played with him in, was it Gary Neville?
Yes.
Okay. Not the singer who's like, that's, the other Neville. What the hell is his name? God damn it.
Oh, you and I are not.
No, you don't.
No. We have the internet. We're gonna wait for this.
Oh, it's gonna be worth it.
His probably name isn't even Neville.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah, he had something going on with his face and his voice. It was, oh, god damn it. Oh, Aaron Neville. Aaron Neville. I think he could sing like that. Kid you not. Someone
who's Michael McDonald.
No.
Yamo
This is an African American gentleman. It was. I tell you.
I think I know that. Wait.
Someone listening to this is going to be like, "Holy shit,
no,
that is Aaron."
I think I'm still singing Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
I don't know much. No, is that Michael McDonald? But I know
I
love you.
Yeah, Will Sasso used to do it on Mad TV.
Then I
Michael
don't
McDonald.
know who this Neville is.
Aaron Neville, yeah. He was to sing like he did like a Christmas song. It's the fucking worst thing that comes on. I'm telling you. Someone listening to this is going to be like, holy shit. Like, Aaron Neville.
He gets it.
So, anyway.
We're going to get a lot of hate mail.
Gary Neville. Who is interviewed every 2 seconds in the episode, like, was also a stellar soccer player. And, like, obviously the whole documentary is about Beckham, but, like, he's in almost every other freaking scene. He's not an attractive man. But then again, you were looking at David Beckham every other scene, so there you go. Posh Spice, also barefoot the majority of the episode.
Dig it.
If you're into that sort of thing. So, there you go. Take a quick right-hand turn from assaulting people, and then...
This episode's taking a lot of... You know what? It's taking a lot of dark turns.
A lot of dark turns.
All right, so now that we've quite viciously gone through our beloved Liverpool...
It hurts a little bit.
Yeah, but we're past it now. It's forgotten, right?
Oh, yeah.
The question is now, who are we going to be berating?
Who are we going to eviscerate based on their physical appearance?
Correct. And I think the answer, and this will lead into the topic that we're going to be talking about next episode, we're going to go with Tottenham Hotspurs.
I fucking hate this team.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. So, like, I feel like it started as most punchable face, but, like, really is most punchable faces.
There's going to be
a
lot of anger in next
There's going to be some surprise ones, as we found this week. Like, we surprise each other.
We do. You know what?
Knowing each other for this long, but
it's
we
true.
surprise each other. So, reach out to us. Again, you know our social media outlets, vinovolley85@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. The Instagram.
The Instagram is vinovolley85. But for the Gmail account, reach out to us and tell us who you think on Tottenham Hotspur has the most punchable face and why. And we will read them aloud as we just did for this episode, next episode, along with our picks as well.
I can't wait. Mike, let's talk about this wine.
I dig it, man. Did you say with the? I think I paid like $10.99 for this thing.
You get a good deal then, because online it says $12.98 a 9.
Maybe I paid $11.99. Anyway,
the nose on it seems weird. The nose is like at times it's caught me off guard.
Yeah, it's not
like being like a little bit.
It's not like it's not.
It's a good smelling wine to me, but like it tastes really well.
Maybe a tad sulfitey. Yeah, I mean the nose on it isn't great.
No,
and there's some wines that I'll just like keep just fucking digging my schnoz in.
Yeah,
and just taking a huge whiff. So the nose isn't great. The legs are decent.
Yep.
Mouthfeel I think is good. And again, getting a lot of those berry notes, and like that's not to be punny, but like that's my jam. Like I like the wines we make for the most part is very good. Like just berries up front, like chocolate up front, and then like a little bit of a dry finish. So I think like this kind of like fits to a T. I love the color. Like for me, like the darker the better the mouthfeel. So
Also a big oak guy.
they're all in oak.
No, but I'm just saying. Big Nacional.
Well, I guess they're not all in a
First, big Nacional guy.
big
Second,
Nacional guy.
big oak guy.
Yes, and I'm sure that's where like that sommelier, like I think I could tell the difference between American oak and French oak, like, but I don't think. Like I know there's Hungarian oak out there. I don't think I've ever had a wine that's been in a Hungarian oak barrel, so I'd like to try that.
Yeah.
I definitely got to find. Tell you what, if we have a lot of Massachusetts-based listeners, which I hope we do, because we sent it out mostly to friends and family, and they all live in the state. Is if you have a good big liquor store with a massive wine selection, like let us know, man, because my local spot isn't great. So I mean, I know you got your Italian guy, but like it's Italian wine. Like we want to try Spanish. We want to try French. We want to get more Portuguese wine. Like obviously we can go to some of the Portuguese markets, but I want to try and find that like
go on an adventure,
one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
So So we kind of obviously talked about what give your score.
All right. Score out of 10, I believe, is what our scoring hierarchy is on. And then I'm just going to cross-reference what wine.com says, even though, they tend to lie to us on the last tasting point of the first sentence. So I'm just going to cross-reference what I believe with what they said. I think give this probably a solid 7.5, 7.6.
Okay. If you were leaning towards one more than the other, what would it be? 7.5 or 7.6?
I go 7.6. I really like this. It's super friendly. I think if you were to bring this bottle of wine like on a flyer to someone's house who like does drink wine, I think they'd enjoy it. Don't be put off by like the twist top. You just get to the goods faster. So yeah, I'm going like a strong 7.6. 7.6. I would definitely buy this again, drink this again. It was good from the beginning all the way through.
And I don't think it's changed much.
It's been super consistent.
Last episode, I mean, that wine took dramatic changes.
It haunts me. That first sip is.
It was that bad for you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you don't like cherry.
Yeah, I'm out on cherry.
Well, I mean, we'll definitely dip back into the Portuguese blends because there's others out there that I think are like really good.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't think it hits the 8 mark. I don't think we've had one that's hit the 8 mark. I'm going to give this a 7.7. I think, like I said, the flavor, it's, as I'm trying to remember now if I took my Pepsid, I'm feeling a little agita, but that could also have been the copious amounts of lemon pasta.
Yeah, combination of a few acidic things.
So that's the flavor profile. It reads on the acidic side. So that would be my one deterrent, but I think the notes are great. The mouthfeel is great, and I mean, you can't beat the price.
No, you can't.
So I think a solid 7.7. So kudos to Maggio.
Yeah, Maggio, the family vineyard. Excellent. 2017 Petite Syrah.
All right. So that kind of rounds out the wine we had for this episode. So again, be on the lookout on our social media page for a picture of it. As luckily this one's in English, so it might not be as hard as we know that some of our listeners might have had some difficulty with Ryan's pronunciation of the Portuguese wine.
Oh, Bonfim?
Bonfim.
Yeah, no, I offended some people.
Yeah. So while we kind of drink the last of this, Rye, why don't you tell us what we're going to be drinking next episode?
Next episode, I have it in my hand. It is a Beaujolais. So it's a French wine.
It is.
It is. And I can tell you, I'm looking forward to this. The bottle speaks to me. I'm excited about this. I also don't drink a lot of French wine.
So the reason that I chose a Beaujolais is because it is. So what I look for, and it kind of, as everything, the wine, as much as possible, we try and tie it into next episode.
Mm-hmm.
So as next episode, we will be, as we hit the dark arts, we're going to go to the much lighter side of soccer. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and scour the internet for some of the most ridiculous or funny records that currently exist in professional soccer.
Awesome.
And bring them to the table next episode to read out and kind of discuss. So with that...
So we got to do research.
Yes.
I have to do the reading, so to say.
You have to... My thinking was, because I try, so I'll tell you, I'll give you a little bit of help, is if you just type in like 20 most like funniest records, you're not going to find anything.
Right.
What you have to think about, you have to use that noodle.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
be like, what do I think is hilarious that could have occurred in a soccer game, and who holds the record for it?
Okay.
So
I'm
I'll
on
give
board.
you like, who's taken more nut shots
Okay,
in a,
okay,
you
yeah.
know, like something like that. Like let's see,
Okay.
let's like really like, you know,
Let's see what the
we'll-
internet can
it
do
is
for
the
us.
light. It is the lighter side.
We can use
so,
the internet for good.
So with that, the
Yeah.
Beaujolais,
Beaujolais 2020. It is from Louis Jadot.
and the grape is 100%
Gamay.
Gamay, which we talked. The Petit Syrah is almost at the very bottom of the dark, where the Gamay is at the very top as the lightest grape. So as we're talking about the lighter side,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a lighter grape.
There you go.
All right.
Super excited
So get yourself
to cover.
a Beaujolais and be ready for the lighter side.
Yeah, join the fiesta next time.
As always, we would absolutely love to keep going, but just like last time, after VAR review, we're officially out of line, my friend, and thus do not blow that goddamn whistle.
I still might practice.
You're
whistle
gonna
in my pocket.
you're gonna blow out our fan
Yeah,
base.
I don't want to do that.
Anyway, so as is the way we end this, we're going to put the final cork in this episode and say we hope that you listen to us next time for another exciting episode of Vino Volley. So, Rye Guy, take us out, my friend.
All right, hey, remember, as always, join us in the next episode. Grab yourself a bottle of wine, a nice Beaujolais. Learn some stuff. Laugh with us. Join us on this adventure. Remember to sip and shoot responsibly.
That is not the line.
What?
It's sip and soccer responsibly.
Oh.
Try that again.
And remember, of course, to sip and soccer responsibly. We bid you if ready to do.